I am here in Liechtenstein at Heuer in their vintage watch space, and I'm with Hans-Jörg, who's going to show me 8 of the rarest watches in the world. Hans-Jörg, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Heuer.
Hello, thank you for doing this video together. The last 15 years I was running the watchmaking workshop. I'm a watchmaker. And since 3 years, I can follow my heart here with all the vintage watches. And yeah, it's a great feeling every day working with old watches where my heart belongs. And let's have a look.
All right, so it looks like in this case we have a lot of Rolexes.
As you know, Rolex is a big player in the market. Also in the present, everybody's talking about Rolex. Of course, we have a lot of them also here in our vintage department in the vintage lounge. So here we have a Datejust reference 6105 in yellow gold, obviously. And the special thing about this watch is that we have between center and 6 o'clock, we have the double signed dial, which is signed from the jeweler Riviera. This jeweler was located in Havana. And they were selling luxury goods, Rolex watches, jewelry for the ladies, everything. And of course, when Fidel Castro took over the revolution in Cuba, there was no more gold watches there. There is just a few pieces left with this Riviera signed dial. And they called it the Tiffany from the Caribbean before.
The Tiffany from the Caribbean?
Yes, yeah,
wow.
yeah.
And speaking of Tiffany, we have another Tiffany to look at here.
Yeah. Here we have this Rolex Explorer, the Explorer 1, also with the double signed dial from Tiffany. And of course, it's a very beautiful watch. It's in a stunning condition. The only thing is the luminous material in the minute hand is a bit cracked, but this belongs to that watch. It comes from the mid-80s, close to 40 years.
And it's in such good condition.
And yeah, he never wore it.
He didn't wear it.
No.
And you have everything that comes with this watch as well, including the hang tag.
Hang tag, box. I have the original certificate.
Wow.
And of course, the story to know the first owner makes everything special, you know. As you can see, it's hard work here in the vintage lounge. Here we have a Royal Oak Jumbo in stainless steel.
Wow.
This was the last series of the Jumbo case without this playback. It's the reference 15002 ST.
Okay.
They were producing only about 180 watches from them. From this, it's very few. And as you can see, the dial, the famous tapestry dial, it turned to this warm, how can we explain that color? Brownish, golden.
It's so nice.
It's great.
It's like great. It is like the essence of the tropical dial, right?
Here we go, yeah.
It's so beautiful. It's so interesting to hear about even brands like Audemars Piguet making so few watches when you think of brands like Rolex and you think of even they don't make mass production, but it is much larger numbers of watches.
Rolex, we can talk about mass production.
Yeah.
For sure. They are doing around 1 million watches a year.
So when you're waiting in line for a watch, it's there's really only a few.
yeah. In this point of view, yes. Pocket watches, I love them personally. The market is not talking for the pocket watches.
People aren't going out seeking pocket watches these days.
You have a few brands. Let's say Piguet, Patek Philippe with some complicated watches, minute repeaters, perpetual calendars. They're still sellable, but those 2-3 hand watches, nobody's taking care. But this one is a very special watch from the 20s.
Okay.
It's a Zenith pocket watch. There is an alarm integrated. So you see this different dial. This second dial, here we have the running seconds, and here we have another dial with the 12 hours. So you can set a time and the alarm will ring at that time. Shall we try to ring the bell?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
That is incredible. That's so cool. Wow.
Here we have the collection from Universal Genève, and I think we can talk about one of those watches.
Yeah, please.
Here we have the Universal, the pole router. Wow. The pole router was designed by Gérard Jonta, the same guy who did the drawings for the Royal Oak, the Nautilus, the Ingenieur SL from IWC.
Okay.
And he designed that watch for the SAS, the Scandinavian Airlines.
Wow.
And all the crew members were getting a watch like this.
Wow.
So we have the pole router, and the SAS airline was the first airline when they were crossing the North Atlantic, you know, from Europe from Scandinavia to America.
Yeah.
So they were flying over the pole. Wow. Because as we have the planet Earth,
yeah.
when you take the straight way, you have the longer way than when you fly over the pole, you know, because it's a ball, it's a sphere.
Yeah, it would be better to go over.
yeah, and you know, till a certain point, it was kind of dangerous because you were flying over very icy.
You would be unreachable.
Yeah. But then, they had the pole router invented. It's a beautiful design. Beautiful. When you see
so light.
It's light. It's light. This is the stainless steel. There's another one in rose gold.
Yeah.
And for collectors, it's a very well known piece. A lot of respect. In the community.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very timeless design as far as we can talk about timeless in a watch.
And not crazy expensive for a Gerald Genta either.
Yeah,
so you don't have to buy
also,
a Royal Oak or a Nautilus. You could purchase this watch from Heuer, and you can own a Gerald Genta watch, which is pretty incredible.
Here we have the reference 5004P, which means it's a platinum case. Here we have the combination of split seconds chrono in combination with perpetual calendar.
Wow. Yeah,
and
looks very complicated.
it's great to have a watch like this here. Here we have a really bunch of complications in one wristwatch case. Patek Philippe in the 40s, they invented with the reference 1518 the first chrono with perpetual calendar. And in the 90s, then they added the split seconds.
Wow.
So
split seconds.
This is the first reference from Patek Philippe, combination of all those complications.
Yeah, and they made it with an open case back, so we can see the movement.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's so as we all know, Jack Heuer was connected to motorsports, and many of the watches, they have names from different racetracks: Silverstone, Monaco. And when we stay at the Monaco, we have here a really beautiful example. It's the reference 1133B, the movie Le Mans.
Okay.
Steve McQueen did that movie. He was wearing the watch in this movie. This is in a stunning condition.
Yeah.
No scratches, no hicks on the case.
It's a big watch.
It's a big watch. And all the Heuer fans around the world, I'm sure they all adore this. This kind of square design, but when you look at it closely, you see all the different design elements together. And when you're talking about this, you think this is not possible. You have a square case, there is a round, there is a circle inside, then you have those squarish small dials in there. You have blue, white, red, everything together, but it matches. It's something different. And when you hear the story, how the watches came to the film set and all the stuff, it's just like other times. Product placement was different at that time.
They were very particular and well organized. Beautiful watch.
Here we have the Omega called Chrono Quartz, which is written here on the dial. It was made for the Olympic Games in 1976 in Montreal.
Okay.
Quartz was the new thing at that time, and so quartz watches, they were very much more expensive than the mechanical ones because there was a lot of technology.
Can you imagine a quartz watch being more expensive than a mechanical watch?
Yeah, it's crazy. And here we have just this analog two-hand dial, and then we have the chrono function and the running seconds on those LC displays on the left-hand side.
Oh, it's quite heavy.
It's a heavy watch.
Yeah.
It's a big watch, and the integrated bracelet looks perfect, I think.
Yeah, it really does.
It looks like a box, and you add some really stable bracelet.
It looks like one piece of metal, kind of. Yeah, very well made. And Omega has a really interesting past with the Olympics.
Of course. They were very early timekeepers for the Olympic Games. Before it was Longines, then it was Omega. It's still Omega when you look at the Olympics this summer in Paris. There was always Omega displayed. And sports timing is an interesting field of watchmaking. Yeah. Now it's completely electronic.
Yeah.
And in the early years it was also a mechanical thing. So it's also part of the watchmaking history, which is so rich and so interesting.
Yeah, integrated into sports really well.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What a cool watch. The digital, and then it's so interesting. Very cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Hans-Jörg, for showing me around the vintage watch space here in Liechtenstein at the Heuer Vintage Watch Room. If you are looking to get into vintage watches or watches just in general, all of these watches that we looked at today and many more are available from Heuer today to purchase.
They are, yeah. You know, as you can see, we have all the price ranges here. I have some small budget watches for a young man, a young lady who wants to start collecting watches. It doesn't have to be always Patek Philippe, Rolex, all the big brands with big numbers. There is such a lot, so many history behind watchmaking, behind every single brand. You can use years to get into that, and there is always a watch for every occasion.
Yeah. And as we saw today, you can get watches from incredible designers like Gerald Genta at a very affordable price. So look at vintage watches. It's pretty cool.